Meanwhile, at the Steelbite pack, something happened after midnight when Cassie arrived home to the pack house of the Steelbite pack. Everyone saw that she felt in a bad mood, and they stayed away from her. Alpha Richard gave Cassie about 1 hour to steam out before he came to her room, only to find Cassie sprawled on her bed with her head buried into pillows that did a lousy job in lowering the volume of her sobs. Cassie didn't feel sad or heartbroken. She felt humiliated and furious. How could she accept this outcome? She experienced Damon's intimate embrace more than once, and even though he never acted cuddly or lovey-dovey, he never hurt her. Cassie didn't take it against him. He served as an alpha after all. He didn't need to woo women because they came to him, just how Cassie did. Everyone knew that Alpha Damon sampled a woman for one night, and that ended it. Cassie had the pleasure of being with him repeatedly over the last few years. She thought it meant something. Yet now he choked her, and he kicked her out because she slapped one scrawny Omega? The image of Damon's furious glare etched into Cassie's mind, and she felt confident that it would become part of her nightmares. In her pack, Cassie acted as a princess, and everyone treated her with respect. And what she experienced from Damon equaled 100 slaps on the face. It seemed one thing for Maya to mock her, but even the warriors who escorted Cassie out of Damon's territory looked at her with taunting smirks, which made Cassie's blood boil. Cassie felt embarrassed and angry, and she didn't know how she could show her face in public anymore. Alpha Richard took a seat on the edge of Cassie's bed. "Will you tell me what happened, Pumpkin?" Cassie whipped her head to glare at her father. "What happened? You know what happened! Alpha Damon kicked me out and told me not to come anymore, like I'm some kind of criminal." "That marked the outcome, but I'm missing the part why you assaulted one of his members. Didn't I tell you to act like his Luna and be compassionate while there?" "Compassionate? Compassion exists for people who behave and know their place. That Omega stole. She had a phone that obviously didn't belong to her, and when I asked her to give it to me, she refused and tried to leave, like I'm not important. I only slapped her to make sure she knew her place. I didn't even hit her that hard. But then Alpha Damon grabbed my neck and slammed me against the wall. He wanted to kill me." Cassie sounded hysterical. "Sweetie, that's Alpha Damon you're talking about. If he wanted to kill you, you would be dead." Alpha Richard knew that Cassie returned unscathed only because Cassie served as his daughter. "I told you to act like a Luna and be benevolent. Unless it happened in an act of defense, you shouldn't be physical, even if your opponent acted as an Omega." "So now it's my fault?" "Alpha Damon thinks so," he deadpanned. "How about you calm down and tell me what happened from the beginning, since you arrived at the Dark Howlers pack? I don't think he would lose his temper over one isolated incident, so tell me everything you can remember. Let's analyze the situation together and see if we can salvage it." Alpha Richard went through this exercise many times. Whenever Cassie returned from the Dark Howlers pack, he would find a reason to ask Cassie about details from her visit. Yes, Cassie only focused on seducing Damon, but sometimes she would find other useful information that Alpha Richard could use. Cassie took a few deep breaths and started. "When I arrived, Alpha Damon avoided our usual greeting. Well, he doesn't really act warm and gentle, but whenever I come, I hug and kiss him. But this time, he dodged me." She told him how Damon seemed distant, and one moment he allowed her to come close, only to push her away in the next. How he always seemed busy. About the incident in the kitchen when she caught Talia stealing. How Damon would eat in his room instead of joining them. And how Damon took another girl to Humantown while giving her a warning that she acted too nosy. And then how she caught Talia with the pricey phone. Why did he defend her twice? She seems so weak. You should see her.
The moment I called her out for stealing, she lowered her head in submission, and when I grabbed her hand, she couldn't get out.
Alpha Richard didn't need to hear the details. He already got the gist of it about the reason why Cassie got kicked out. Cassie lost temper, crossed the line, and Alpha Damon punished her. To be honest, considering Cassie's personality, Alpha Richard felt surprised that Alpha Damon didn't snap earlier.
I thought that it involved a mood swing. Maybe he found another woman. That doesn't seem unusual, but it never lasted for more than a day, and he would always accept my advances. However, this time, I stayed there for days, and he didn't touch me. Is it because of Marcy from the Red Moon Pack? Did they really get engaged?
Alpha Richard shook his head. Nothing seems conclusive with Marcy. Alpha Damon left saying that they will decide later how to proceed with the engagement. Cassie frowned.
Is he actually thinking about it?
Alpha Damon doesn't act as a thinking type. He acts. Alpha Damon left the Red Moon Pack without sealing the engagement, and that means he felt unwilling to make Marcy his Luna. Cassie relaxed at those words.
But then, why did he avoid me? Other than one woman who he took to the human city for an appointment, I didn't see any other woman around him other than Omega's and that annoying Beta Maya.
Do you know who served as the woman that Alpha Damon took for an appointment?
I never saw her before, but her clothes looked high-end.
Cassie paused.
Actually, a day before that, Alpha Damon went shopping personally, and I saw bags full of clothing. I feel confident that he bought clothes for her.
Does that seem unusual? If he courted a woman, it's not unusual to buy her gifts. Cassie plopped on the bed and stared at the ceiling.
I don't know, Daddy. Nothing seemed out of place, but my intuition told me that everything changed. So far, Alpha Damon acted either indifferent or accepting toward me. Yet this time, he scolded me more than once, and he even hurt me. A man doesn't change like that unless he found someone else. Maybe buying clothes seems normal for courting women, but I've watched Alpha Damon for years, and he doesn't court women.
Alpha Richard agreed with this. He knew very well from his experience that an alpha didn't need to show off in order to get a woman to warm his bed, because there always existed women who felt attracted to status and power. Unless Alpha Damon found a woman worth pursuing. But he didn't want to say that to Cassie and risk her throwing a fit. Tell me about that girl. I will see if I can find out who she is.
Which one? The Omega who served as the reason why Alpha Damon hurt me? Or the one in the car?
Cassie asked, and before her father could respond, she continued talking.
Actually, they kind of looked alike.
Sisters? Or is it possible that it involved the same person? Cassie didn't take a good look at Talia when she sat in the car, but she noticed a few things.
Both had copper-colored hair and a petite frame. I didn't notice more than that, but...
Cassie's eyes widened.
What if it involved the same girl? That would explain why the girl in the car seemed quiet.
If that involved the same girl, it sounds to me that Alpha Damon protects her. Did you get her name? Cassie shook her head.
I can call him and...
No. Alpha Richard cut her off. Let me investigate this. Stay low, Cassie. Promise me. Cassie felt unwilling.
Why?
Because you just enraged Alpha Damon, and he told me that if you get close to him, he will treat you as an enemy. Trust me, you don't want that. Give him time to cool off and forget about the incident. If that involved the same girl and he protected her, she might act as more than just an Omega. Cassie frowned.
You're telling me that some woman latches onto my man and I should stay quiet?
No. I'm telling you that some woman remains under his protection, and you shouldn't provoke him. There exists no proof that anything romantic happens between them. She could serve as a relative or someone he treats well because of benefits. There also exists an option that she acts as a spy who trains to go undercover. If her mission seems important, Alpha Damon would personally check her abilities. Let's not risk doing anything rashly. I will find out who she is, and we will take it from there. Cassie pursed her lips.
Okay, I will not contact Alpha Damon, but only if you promise to tell me what you find.
All right, Alpha Richard said. Now, get cleaned up and sleep. I want to see you in high spirits in the morning. Casey let out a long sigh before agreeing.
Good night, Daddy.
Good night, Pumpkin. He kissed Casey's forehead.
Please subscribe to the Pocket FM YouTube channel and press the bell icon for instant notification. Check out our channel for more such exciting shows.